Awesome. Hey, hi, welcome back to my cave. This is the first live stream I've done in months. It's good to see you all again. I know I can't see you all directly, but I can feel you. And I am, as you might be able to tell from some of the signs here, I am about to jump back in to my Ghostbusters Ecto-1 from Eaglemoss Hero Collector. And I'm on issue 5 now, which is parts 11, 12, 13, 14. Okay. I have those. 11, 12, 13, 15. I have those, but I don't think I'm going to get through all these today. I'm sure I'm not going to get through all those today, but we'll get through a little bit of it. So I'm going to build for a little while, and then I'm going to take some questions from y'all. But first, we're just going to, go to our happy place, putting together something from instructions, one after the other. Yeah. So this is number 11. I need a blade. Where's my blade? There it is. I have literally not touched this kit since the last time we all hung out, you and I. It has, and this has been an interesting thing, right? Because people ask me how I store projects. How do I, it's a common question. One question is, what do you do with projects you don't finish? And I'm here to tell you, I don't finish way more projects than I do. That's like straight up. You should just know that. Here, let me get this tip down just a tiny bit. There, yeah, it's better. No, now my head's cut off. I finish way less projects than I start. But then the question is frequently, what do you do when you have to let a project sit for a while? And that is another great question. And so what I do for something like this is I have a big plastic bin that stores all the plastic parts that I've gotten in. So this bin holds everything that I need right now because I'm only up to step 30 of these parts. And then I actually store the rest of everything in these half-inch foam core sorters. I'll have to redo these. You can see, like in my shop, these get filled with a bunch of detritus. This is some European plug from some device I bought that I didn't need. Look, I can't make it. Nope, I missed that one too. Hold on, let's see. Got it. I'll be joining Dude Perfect in no time. I will not be joining Dude Perfect. I love those guys. I'm the anti-Steph Curry. Everything I throw does not make it into the vessel I've thrown it towards. So that's how I stored this whole Ghostbusters Ecto-1 project as a couple of these stacked on top of each other, sitting on top of this box. And I'm actually also working concurrently on the Back to the Future DeLorean, which Eaglemoss also makes. And that is a wiring journey, man. There's a lot of wiring going on in that kit. It's beautiful. It's beautiful, but it's a lot of wiring. Okay, so let us see here. I've opened up number 11, and I think I'm just going to start there and see how far I can get. Again, I have there's a lot of work to do on this. And come on. I'm here to tell you this is not a one-off. I want to keep going back to these live streams because, frankly, I get a lot out of them. I really like the difference in pace, and it is while I film in here all day, every day. There's a way in which this feels immediate that feeds me, and I'm really grateful for the opportunity to be able to work while folks are playing along at home. Okay, so assembling the power steering pump and pulley. One of the things I like thinking about with a project like this is somewhere there's a dude or dudette, somewhere there's a human being, an engineer, who, in order to get this kit across the line, became way more familiar with this particular model of Cadillac ambulance than they ever suspected they would be. And now they're like one of the world's experts in this thing. So I'll bet that that person might end up in a junkyard someday and be like, oh, that's a power steering pump for the Cadillac, blah, 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 right? Okay, BP. Let's see here. BP. Excuse me. Oh, I need tweezers, right? Also, my throat's a little parched, so rather than keep coughing at you, which is like triggering in this era, I'm going to go grab a quick snap. I'll be right back. Hi. I love me my Diet Snapples. This is a half and half. Lemonade and iced tea, otherwise known. Missed that one too. The half iced tea, half lemonade is known as the Arnold Palmer. And the question, the eternal question, what does Arnold Palmer order? I'm kind of curious. Okay, BP. So I need 2 BP screws. That's one of those. I'm so sure I'm not getting very far at all today, which is totally fine. It's lovely to be back in the swing, in the sway. For various reasons that'll become clear later on Tested, I've been traveling, and this is my second week back in the shop after 3 weeks away, which is lovely. It's lovely to be back. It was awesome to travel. I drove all over the country, and again, details will emerge as we talk about what we were doing and why I was traveling. But it was, I drove over 5,500 miles across most of the U.S., saw some friends, saw some relatives, and I got some good R&R, rest and relaxation, for which I'm very grateful. Figure B. I'm going to put 11B with 11D, and it's got a alignment pip. They really, in general, I will say Eaglemoss makes it pretty hard to screw up the assembly of this stuff, which is good because human beings, if we're good at one thing, it's screwing stuff up, especially when you've got all these parts that look like each other. Okay, which part is this? 11F. 11. That's not it. That's 11K. Oh, they're labeled right on there. J-I-E. That's not F. No. There it is. You were hiding your secret speed. And that's 11E, which I just saw. And there it is. There's the washer. So this guy goes on there. There's no specific alignment. And then, what is that? Oh, I see. That goes in there. Oh. And then in EP. Now all this stuff is coming back to me because what I'm remembering is that my beginning of this project, I figured out this sorting method using these little parts sorters. And then a lovely fan revealed to me that this is how watchmakers actually store their tiny things, and sent me some watch sorters. And we did a whole one day build or tooltip regarding it. Okay, that goes in. And now 11C, which is the power steering pump fluid cap, goes in there, and it's a press fit. Okay. Oh, now we do FP, and I don't have any FPs, so I got to crack into the new FP envelope. This is like every single time these kits come, they come with like one extra screw than you need, which frankly is genius. Thank you for sending me one extra. But I also would love to have the option to just order all the screws up front, frankly. Okay, so I need 2 FPs, and these attach to My engine is nice and beat up. This is, I forgot I was doing all the painting as I went. How delightful. So that side, and it goes there. So now the question is, yeah, I'm going to put that in, and I think it may be just time to like give it a bit of a wash right away. And yeah, we're doing okay. Just 10 minutes in, not like taking too much time. So, oh yeah, you're going there. Yeah, I think I'll do this. I'll paint this when it's on rather than off. Hey, come on. Oh. Why are you not cooperating? It's FP, right? FP and the FP. Yeah. You know, when they finally get that like brain mechanical interface sorted out, one thing I really want is the ability to just remove my glasses by thinking about it. Because at least still now at 53, my eyes, my close-up vision is way better than my vision through any lenses. That's what you call nearsighted. But you knew that. And so for super sensitive work, it's like, I want a welding helmet. So when you weld, there's this whole thing about setting the temples of your welding helmet so that it stays up, but then just a tap brings it down. So you, and this is all from the days before you had auto darkening welding helmets, but still I use it. And so you sit there and you get your hands in position in the welding position, and then you tap your head and the welding helmet comes down. And if you haven't moved and you start the weld, you can see it through the visor. It's awesome. Actually, really funny thing is to watch a welder who doesn't realize they don't have their helmet on, get set up for a weld and go like this, and then realize they don't have their helmet on. Happens to all of us. Okay, so let's get these last bits in. I have been using this beautiful big Lincoln welder, my SP 150 or whatever it is, my little Lincoln 110 volt mode, just crap the bed. I haven't spent any time figuring out how to make it work. Okay, so it's time for a little bit of detailing. I think we're going to give, let's see here. Ooh, I was looking for these. So we did a one-day build recently where I replaced the sides of my table saw fence. And at the same time as I did that, and we were realizing that Powermatic no longer sells those fences, so I had to order from that wonderful guy. We also ordered some new, what you call table saw cursor windows. And these are this is how you see the measurement through the table saw fence. And we got these lovely new magnifier ones, and I couldn't find them. Like, we had set them aside, and here, like, Jen Schachter had carefully labeled this for me, and it had gone on this thing in that bin, and that's not one of the places that I looked in. So I'm very glad these are back. Put that there for take care of you later. Yes. That is my Samaritan all the way back there. It just needs to be in sight of me all the time. That's the way I feel. It's like my security blanket. What am I doing right now? I am doing a little bit of rub and buffing. Is that what I'm going to do? Yeah, maybe a little rub and buffing. Let's see. No, that's not looking. Is this a list I need anymore? It's not. So we'll get a little rum buff on there. Ooh, 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 ooh. Aha! That is a quick reach for a skewer. And the reason it's a quick reach is because I just did a one-day build for a skewer and swab and wooden implement access. It's going to be cool. But okay, let's get some rub and buff. You definitely have to keep it from drying out. Rub and buff is as a wax. with a solvent in it. It can definitely dry out in the tube, and when it does that, it's unhappy. But oh yeah. Right. I can just do this with this. Okay. Let us. Yeah. Okay. So we're just gonna do like it's been worn out. And like we've been doing, we're just doing a little bit of rub and buff on the edges. So here, I'll show you here so you can see up close. Here is the part, and sorry. Hey. Okay. So here's how I have outfitted my swab with a little bit of rub and buff on it. And I've rubbed it against the paper, so it's not like saturated with rub and buff. It's just got some on it. And what happens is if I take this and I hit the high spots, they end up sort of like feeling like wear spots. I'm trying to do this a little bit blind, but also with this, which is a kind of a Q-tip version of dry brushing, it allows me some subtle control. It's like... Excuse me, I just was rushing around so much, I got something caught in my throat. When you first put like fresh rub and buff on a Q-tip, it's like a Photoshop airbrush at 100% flow. And when you like rub it on the paper to kind of smooth it out a little bit, what you're doing is kind of reducing that flow. So I just do a little bit of this around the cap. I'm actually do the whole cap because that's definitely something that would get a lot of wear. To the tops of the screws. Yeah, and now I start talking in my Bob Ross voice because you can put the wear any place you want. The narrative of this object's past history is a narrative that you invent. It can go any way you want. You could make it brand new if you like. You could make it showroom ready. Or if you felt like making it more like the first car you worked on. My first car was Volvo 245 DL. That was a fantastic first car. What a masterpiece of auto engineering that car is. And now I'm just going to add some more rub and buff to some other high points on this because I've got it, and it'll just help add some scale. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Look at that. Look at how much narrative that adds. It's great. I know, I fully recognize that this is not the ideal format for you to be able to witness and see really up close just how great this looks. But to be honest, we can take some photos and post them when we air this. Oh yeah, that's great. Here we go. Okay, so I'm feeling good about the power steering. That's not something I need. There is that. You guys can stay right there. The wire. This is like a grounding wire of some kind, and it's 2 EPs. Oh, and I have 2 EPs. I'm referring to the size of screw. Oh, man, every time I dive into this kit, I just become astounded by what must have been a bear of an engineering project to make this work. I'm really impressed. The one that I really covet is that gigantic quarter scale DB5 that they made. Listen up, Eaglemoss. That one is magnificent. That's the Aston Martin DB5 with the James Bond. I think he's driving one in the new Bond film. Oh my God, I can't wait for the new Bond film. I'm so excited, especially since my hero, Phoebe Waller-Bridge, did a bunch of writing on the script. They asked her if she brought she's bringing a feminist perspective to Bond. And she says, I think she said something like, well, the script is less misogynistic, but Bond isn't. I'm like, that sounds exactly right. I'm very excited for the new Bond. And, Daniel Craig has done an amazing job with all 5 films he's in, I still think that Casino Royale might be my favorite of all Bond movies. And he's certainly done and has earned his ability to go retire, like Thanos. But I'm super excited about who the next Bond might be. I hope that they go far and wide for that casting. Okay, I'm going to do one more step here. I'm just going to do step number 3, and that is part 11H. Yeah, it's these last 4 parts. 11H, 11K, 11K, and I can get rid of that. So, what do we got here? 11K, 11H goes here. Which way? That way? Looks like that way. Well, we'll figure that out in just a second, because we've got 11K and 11J and 11I. Oh, no, 11J goes that way. 11I goes that way. I don't want to see 11I, do I? Oh, no, I don't have to because it faces on the inside. Yeah, better looking. Okay, so, and a GM. A GM. Oh, yeah, I'm going to have to crack a new one. Okay, so that goes there, and that goes there, and then because that's on there, I'm just going to have to hold that all in orientation. Oh my gosh, that is a fair bit of... Totally messed it up. Okay, let's see. I don't want to do this. That one lives there. This one lives there. This one lives on top and all the way through, right? Yes. So, I did it. Hey, that worked. So this is the crankshaft pulley. And, oh yeah, it's not even close to being tightened in. Hang on, let me get a slightly bigger screwdriver. Great. And we're going to do a little more rub and buff. So this rub and buff from this tube, which is now like 7 months old, is definitely like long in the tooth, and I may have to resuscitate the squeezed out stuff with a little bit of like acetone solvent. Oh yeah. And each time I've got a little extra rub and buff on my Q-tip, I'm just like rubbing it around in different places just to kind of highlight, pull out the details. It's the best part. Dry brushing, man. It's awesome. Okay. There's the crankshaft pulley, and you can see it was blue originally, and I gave it some rub and buff around the edges. Eventually, I'm going to hit this whole thing with a brown wash, focusing on the underside because that's how engines get dirty. But I'm going to sort the GM and BP. I got to put these away. Before I do anything else, I got to put the screws where they're supposed to go. That's a BP. Yep. And this is an EP. And there we go. And then this is a GM, which I already did. So I can toss those. And I can put these back on. Oh, no, no. All right. And I think that concludes today's building of Ghostbuster pieces. We're about 25 minutes in, and that seems like a reasonable stopping place. We'll put those guys over there. He's just lovely. The detail on this is great. I know that some people, some modelers don't like the big screws, and they work hard to remove them, especially from pieces like this. There are some terrific aftermarket kits that remove some of those big screw details, but I kind of like them. No, missed that one too. Okay, so we are at this part of issue 5, I'm going to dog ear that page so I know. And then that guy can live there. All right.